Welcome to Who Taught You? It's a platform where we talk about any subject, a plethora of things about who taught you. And today we're going to talk about who taught you about money. More money, more money. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Just hit the buttons below. Okay, so Jam.
Yes.
You know, this is one of my favorite subjects is about money because I'm really passionate about my finances. Maybe because I'm still trying to stack my millions. Okay. So, I wanted to know who taught you about money.
Well, the correct answer would be my mama and them. And I would say that's the case. I think we first learn about money is looking at how your parents and how your immediate family uses that money. So I would say, yeah, my mom and my family taught me about money. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I would say who taught me about money was my mama. Once again, ding, 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 ding. Only because I saw her at one time. Her saving method was like she showed me that she saved money and she would put it under her chest of drawers. And I saw that was like one method of saving. And then, you know, did you get an allowance when you were a child?
Girl. Allow what? I wish. No, sir. No, we did chores because we had to do chores. We
didn't get paid for that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I got allowance.
You know when I got money for birthdays, when you get them in the car from the other people that are not in your immediate family because your payment was groceries and dinner and food. We didn't get money.
But is that a religious thing or is it just...
No, honey, that's a pole thing. When you grow up broke, that's what happens for those who didn't know.
Well, I think, like for me, my mom, when she migrated from Jamaica to Brooklyn, we were not rich by any means. I don't even think we were middle class. Maybe she thought that, but I didn't think that. But I remember, like in my teenage years, getting an allowance because I wanted the new sneakers. And I wanted like New Balance and all that. I couldn't get those, but I would get like, at some point, I got like $20 or so. And later on, when I visited my father, he was estranged for a certain time, but then later on, I would visit him in Georgia, and he gave me $50 allowance, but I didn't know how to manage it.
Allowance means you get it on a recurrent basis. So you got $50 how frequently?
Like every summer that I would go visit him. So every week I would get $50.
Wait, like 4 weeks in a month, so you get 50. Damn! Like, no, that did not happen in my family.
But you know what's so funny about that? My dad, he had a store. He had a lot of different business.
Yeah.
And he had a store, kind of like a corner shop or something like that. And we would work in the store. And so he would give us $50.
Okay, no, he was paying you for your services.
I know, because he had to write me off on taxes.
Don't be trying to get you trying to get him hemmed up. Ignore what she said. Okay.
But he gave me the money, but he didn't give direction. So I would spend, I was from Brooklyn. So my father, as I said, was a preacher. So when he gave me $50, I would make my sister take me to the mall, and I would buy the mini skirts.
You hear it now,
teeny-weeny stuff, you know? And I would spend all my $50 off. And then I would go in my dad's store and try to eat the chips and stuff. And he's like, "You're eating out my profits."
Eating out my profits.
I was like, "Dang, Dad." But my sister would give me some of her money sometimes so I could go to Dairy Queen and buy some ice cream.
So then, if that's the case, when did you learn about saving? So you said you saw your mama put something away. When you was going to put something away?
I was eating it all and spending it on new clothes. I mean, he had to pay up. He didn't really pay no child support. So, sir, $50 was nothing. Okay? Not one
What
thing.
that got to do with you saving your money, though?
I didn't learn. Nobody really taught me how to, you know, manage my money.
Right.
I think when I got older, I just kind of figured it out. My mother taught me how to save later on in years. But let me tell you what my mother did. Every time my mother, she did it all wrong. She would say, there's money here, but I would spend it all. Like she told me in high school, I have a savings account for you. Yeah. And so I said, homegirl, this is what we gonna do. We gonna go to lunch. I'm gonna treat all my friends. So every week during school, yes, pizza on me. We ain't gonna eat school lunch. We too good for school lunch. I was balling. Oh, you and spent up almost all my mama money in the savings account she had for me.
You got a whooping, didn't you?
No.
You didn't get no whooping?
No.
I would have whipped your ass. No, really, because so I think what I said earlier, which is my mom taught me. So I learned by watching. So I would see her. Y'all remember checks? Mm-hmm. Y'all remember checks? Mm-hmm. Remember them things you have to actually write out? People are like, no, what is that you're talking about?
Now people
but she
don't
taught
do that.
me how to write a check. So you had, and how it worked is that you wrote on this piece of paper to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna pay you this. Mm-hmm. But there was time between when that piece of paper got to your bank and when the money came out. Mm-hmm. So in terms of understanding how that worked, you had to make sure there was enough money in the account. I bounced a couple of checks in my day.
Who hasn't? Right? Who hasn't?
You be doing them calculations in your mind thinking, okay, I got a little time, and then it hit that account and they'd be like, excuse me, non-sufficient funds. NSF miss. So, and then so you learn, like you said in the last video from the streets, you have to learn the hard way. You get enough of them $25 charges, you be like, hold on now, I'm just giving my money away.
In there.
Exactly. 25. No, so you learn the hard way what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. I wish. Because I went to like a private school, Muslim private school, and I don't remember having like a class on budgeting or anything like that.
Exactly. It wasn't until I got to college, but I think they should teach that before you get to college.
Yeah.
I feel like you should have that because my mom is from the Caribbean, so she had a thing called partner or susu. Yes. That most people know, and they recently brought something similar, but it was similar to a scam. In the pandemic, where people was putting money and they was getting way more than they were supposed to. I don't know how that worked. But with the partner, what they did was, say for instance, I wanted to save like $2,000, and we had like, I'd get a friend and you get a friend and we get so many people. Mm-hmm. Say we get like 5 people and we say, don't add up my math and don't act like I ain't go to college. I'm just using this as an example.
That's what we do.
We
checking.
Okay. So say for instance, we said, okay, we're going to save $200 over so many months to get to this $2,000, right? So each person would pick a number and say you pick number 1. The first week you would get the whole $2,000, but you'd have to stay in the partner for the amount of remaining of the months. To give
the $2,000 back.
Yes.
So everybody has a turn. It's like everybody gets a chance to do it. Yeah. Now they call it in Bermuda. They call it like a gift club or gift hand or something like that.
Now at this age, I keep telling my mother, you were a good saver, but you didn't really. To me, logically, I would never put my money in hands of strangers because I've seen it gone the wrong way. I used to work at Macy's when I was younger, and one of the managers was in charge of the susu, and something happened, and the management came down on her and told her she shouldn't have been doing this with her subordinates and so on.
Yeah, no.
So I've seen it go the wrong way. So I believe, banks also will take your money, but I think I'd rather put it in a financial institution which is FDIC secured or something like that. Let me get some interest on my money. Me saving, I think my money
ain't finna get no interest on your money putting it in the bank. Not right now.
No, you're not getting that much, but I'm still gonna get more than somebody holding my money. And then now with the partners, the person who's the head of it and holding the money, you have to pay them. I'm like, oh hell no. And you paying them more than what the bank is paying. You paying the bank. Oh, no, not to hold my money.
Okay, so who taught you then about how to budget the money?
Okay, so I think Sue Orman and David Bach and I would see the Oprah show. Everybody who's around our age probably seen the Oprah. Oprah, she was so popular. Her show had so many viewers, and she had these people on there. And initially, I budgeted like writing stuff down. Today, I use an app. What do you budget in your household?
So, I will tell you, yes. So, I do mental budgeting.
What?
Mental budgeting is when you have a running tally of how much money you have in your account, thereabouts. My husband, on the other hand, does not like mental budgeting. So, in that regard, he is the spreadsheet guy. So, he needs to know where every coin is going, every coin is going, or whatever. And okay, I like a budget. A budget is a good thing, especially when you have a family. But I don't like his budget. Don't tell him. Shh. Because he be trying to make me stick to it. I mean, I guess that's why you have a budget, right? You're supposed to stick to it. But I'm like, stuff happens. But he be like, it ain't in the budget. We can't do it. And I'm like, are you serious right now? So the relationship I have with money is I feel like money is a tool to allow you to do the things that you want to do in life, right? I think it's a necessity, right? Okay. I think it's necessary for you to live the lifestyle that you want to live, but you also need money in order, you have to think about the future when it comes to that sort of thing, but it's still a tool. So he is the kind of person who would love to just save everything.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm working too damn hard not to enjoy a little bit of it. A little bit of it. And so I guess that's where the budget comes into play. But, where you have that line for entertainment, like that might go up and down a little bit, you know?
You work hard.
That's not bad. But he be like, nope. We said $200 for the week, and that's it. And I'm like, but I want to go to the movie and go get something to eat. So I think we have a lot of discussions around that, and really when he's like, it's time to do the budget, like I get a pit in my stomach. I'm like,
Jesus. I recall, all right, so when I first met Jamila, she was very stylish because she came from California, and she was very, very stylish.
She didn't tell me that. Thank you.
Like, we used to borrow clothes from her. Other people did too, because she was very stylish. And also, one thing that she had that was different from me is I paid for my college. Her parents helped her, to help her. So she had a little bit more wiggle room. So Jamila would just go and buy what she wants to buy.
But I worked all through college. Hello.
I had to go to work. You wasn't going to work. You was partying and doing school.
Why you put my business in the streets?
Sorry, her business in the streets. So is it safe to say that the person who manages the finances is your spouse?
No.
Who manages the finances for the household?
He manages the budget.
All right, so who manages the finances?
What you mean with define finance?
Okay, so in my household, I manage the finances, not necessarily.
What you mean, like paying the bills and stuff?
I do the budget, and we have a joint account, and the bills come out of that. But when we sit down and we set goals, I'm better with the money than he is.
Okay, so in that regard, we have a budget, right? And so what we have agreed to do is split it. So the majority of my paycheck is saved.
That's great.
And then his paycheck is what we use to pay the bills and stuff like that.
See, I wish I could get my spouse on track with that, and he just isn't there yet. And I keep trying to tell him, we could be winning. And he's like, I don't know yet.
But you control the finances. What
I do. So I change it up. Well, it's different because it depends on how you were brought up with money.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
And certain times with a male, you don't want to be like totally in charge of everything. You also have to give them room. And I have a very strong personality.
Yeah.
So, yes, most definitely. You know this, right? So I have to give him room too. Just like you said, we all work. We want to spend our money. We want to enjoy. You don't want to just work and be a miser and then you don't have a great quality of life.
Right.
You know?
But you know what I think that is a missed opportunity, especially in Black families, is understanding how to use money to get to the place where you want to be, right? And I do think, like, especially for my husband, like his whole initial idea with regard to money was that you have to save, and we know that you're not going to get that much interest on your money if you just put it in the bank. And so understanding how you can actually use money, either whether it's to buy stocks in the stock market, now it's Bitcoin and all of these opportunities. And what they say, it takes money to make money. They ain't lying, right?
That's true.
You have to use it to as a tool to get you to that next level. And I don't think that we are taught to do that.
No,
we are taught to save, stack your money, but then what happens is work hard. What happens is you get laid off. Now you got to dip into your savings just to live. And so you're basically starting from zero again, all over again.
Yeah.
And so I think that I would like to be able to teach my child that it's not just about saving. It's looking at different ways and different sources of income, not just working for, whether it's working for yourself or for someone else, but also looking at how you can earn passive income. Like that's a whole thing now. Like,
and having different streams
of income.
Exactly. But I remember, like, all right, so at one point I was a single mother. And I remember Jam telling me, come to Bermuda. Kind of like, come back to Jamaica. She was like, come to Bermuda, right? And she was like, you could work here, you could do that. But I had a child and I couldn't just make moves like that. But it actually worked out for her because in Bermuda, they were paying way more. They were paying for your living expenses and all that stuff.
Some people they was paying that for. I just think for me, I wasn't a single mom. So it was just me, right? It was me and my husband. And so all we had to do, and thankfully, and I will say this, it's all up. We had an opportunity to save quite a bit of money early on because we got to live with his mom.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case, right? So we didn't have those initial bills that you would normally have, like rent and car notes and all these things. So we had an opportunity to work and save. But at the end of the day, once you use those savings, it's gone. That's true. And so what I really still want to learn now, like I think understanding money and how to use it is still an ongoing learning process. That's right? True. And so I want to get to the point where, I have my savings, but I want to see that multiply, right? I want to see it triple and quadruple, and I think I got stuck. I can go quintuple.
I don't
just
know.
stop. 5, 10, 15, all of that. So that's what I want to learn how to do. And I do think that, we all have the ability to go to the school of YouTube and learn stuff. And that's where I heard that for the first time. This guy did a video on YouTube and he was talking about how we need to teach our children that money is a tool. And I was like, you're right. It is a tool. You know what I mean? The same, like if you tilling the earth or whatever, you're using a tool to do that. Money is your tool to till your life, if you will. So
you know what? This is a thing though. I follow Dave Ramsey and he has helped me out tremendously just reading his books and following his steps, his baby steps, and I really believe in him. But I also believe there's many ways to skin a cat. Like you don't have to go the Dave Ramsey way. You could go another way. So my next question is, what is more important? Is it money or credit? Because I have a friend who using the tools of credit to get to the same place as I am. You know what I'm saying? Or even further. But in your opinion, which one is more important?
I think they're equally as important. And I think it depends on where you live, right? Because in some countries, if you don't have good credit, well, you just... Oh, baby. You can't get nothing. They be like, no, you can't have nothing. But in other countries, that's not a big deal. There is no credit. It's like you don't have the cash to purchase it. Okay, then you can't have it. And so I think being able to live in both types of countries has taught me to a certain degree. In a country where credit is important, it does teach you how to pay your bills on time, how to ensure that you are doing what you need to do to maintain a high credit score. But in a country where credit is not, there is no credit, right? Like to get credit in Bermuda, you have to have the amount of money that you're asking for somewhere, and you're like, well, damn it, if I had it, I wouldn't be asking you for it.
Why?
But it does teach you to be self-sufficient, and it also teaches you not to, you know how they say you eat more than you really need. Teaches you not to do that, because if you don't have it, you can't have it. You just don't have it. So,
but the thing too, I really do not like credit, because credit is based on how much debt you have. But I have friends who use the debt. They like a friend said to me the other day. She said, "I have good debt," and you know, I used to think like that when I first bought. I used to have multiple homes.
Yeah.
And they would be like, your student loan is a good debt. But debt is debt. But I'm never going to say to my friend, that's the wrong way to go, because I realize you could go the opposite way and we could reach at the same point.
Yeah.
So, you know, who am I to say, you know, using good debt you own in a house or something to that effect is not going to be the avenue you need to take. I believe, like Dave Ramsey say, there's also avenues you can take where you don't have a credit score because you've paid off your debt. Because once you start paying off your debt, your credit score goes down. So most people will do this. They'll take a credit card. I do this. And I charge whatever. So whatever I charged on the 13th, before the 13th of next month, I'm paying it off. I'm not paying any interest. But it's something that you have to learn so that you don't pay interest, right? And it keeps boosting my credit score. But he also has a tool where if you don't have any credit, say you've paid off everything and you have a hefty savings, you can still buy a house without credit, right? So he, you know, and this is not a plug for Dave Ramsey, but this is what I use right now. Now I'm also looking at other avenues.
Yeah.
But some people think that the more credit is the way to go because it will help you to achieve anything that you want.
I think when you use it like how you've how you've said or stated, is that you use a credit card or you use it, you know, to buy groceries, let's just say. And then before you have to pay it off or whatever, or before the interest accrues, you pay it all off. So it's building your credit, right? So I think it's again a tool, right? It goes back to that whole thing that we're talking about. So instead of the cash being a tool, you're now talking about credit and how you use credit as a tool, and there's different applications, right? I guess for cash versus credit. So the key is to understand and know those things, and I don't think that we take the time to figure that out so that it works for us, right? As opposed to us always working on this hamster wheel trying to get it, and it's always eluding you. It's because you haven't figured out the right combination, if you will, to make it work for you.
Yes. And I think as well, my personal opinion, I'm now, like, my eyes have been open to so many things. Sometimes people will tell you, like, I grew up born in Jamaica, but I was instilled, you have to have an education, to get, you know, the money, the things that you want, right? But I think when people say it enough, then you'll believe it. Like, say, for instance, we had a president who said, the White House is blue, and you kept hearing, the White House is blue, your teachers are saying it, your parents are saying it, everybody is saying it. So then you start to believe the White House is blue. You know what I'm saying? So So break from that norm and, like she said, look for tools that can help you out there. Research, try to find it out. And, you know, part of this show is to also educate you that there are different ways and different things and different avenues and different tools out there to look for.
YouTube University.
And let me ask you a question. Do you have a good or bad debt story?
Okay, I have a debt story. Mm-hmm. I had loans too for school.
Mm-hmm. Who hasn't?
Right.
Still paying.
And I think for me, even though you keep trying to act like I didn't work when I was in college, I'm like, how the hell them loans get paid off then?
Oh, yes, I do remember because I told you one time, but you were working at that time. But I had left Clark. I didn't graduate from Clark.
So just because she left Clark meant I didn't work to go to college.
I left Clark, and then I graduated from another university. But I remember, too, when you graduated, you had asked me, because the United States has a program kind of like that you could work, and they give you so much credit back. So I do remember.
Yes, I did it. Yes. AmeriCorps. Yes. I did stuff so I can try to pay off, and that's what I did. So for me, I think being able to pay those loans down really was a huge help. Because it wasn't like this thing hanging over your head that you always had to pay. So, you make sacrifices. You may not have wanted to do it, but I knew what I wanted, and I wanted to try to go into whatever the next part of my life was with a clean slate. But, managing money, I think it's an ongoing. Some people have a natural knack for it, yes, right? They just, it always works for them. They know how to multiply and all of that. Others, not so much, because they just either weren't taught, or you get it and you want to spend it. It's easy to spend, right? It's super easy to spend because you think, oh, that next check is coming, so that's the one I'm gonna save. But I think that once you understand that it's a tool and you try to figure out how to make it work for you.
Well, for me, my debt story was, I think most people have been in debt at least once. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times for you to learn. But I remember being in debt, and I remember reading Susie Orman book, and then later I realized, reading other books, right? I realized, oh, well, I'm in debt, and I probably am not going to be able to pay off all this money, so let me try to make a settlement. So I did make a settlement, and I paid it. And even though they say, don't make a settlement, pay the whole thing off because it looks better, that worked for me. That was the avenue I took, right? Mm-hmm. And it ended up working for me, and then my credit was good after I did all that. But I'm not a fan of credit card debt, and all of this is money, the credit,
all of
money.
It.
Now, my last question is money important to you, or what is money more important to you as far as what can money not buy? You know what I'm saying?
Well, money can't buy happiness. Say lie. No. I think money is extremely important because it allows you to get to what you need, right? Unfortunately, I wish you can go in the store and be like, hi, can you please give me that? And they'd be like, no, we need some coin first. So because...
I'm gonna just flash
Yeah.
Give me
Sometimes
that.
Sometimes it works, but most time it don't, okay? So I think that it's important. I think it's important to understand how you can use it to get to where you need to be. But at the end of the day, I grew up and I didn't have no money, but I was happy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I know that there's still things and experiences that I want to have that require money.
That's true.
Right?
That's
there's things that I want for my life that require money. And so there's always, in my mind, a need to have it. Mm-hmm. Now, how you get the money, those are that's the special sauce. What you do to get it, how many sources of income do you have, whether or not it's passive or active. All of those things are the things that I'm still learning about now.
I think money is very important for me because I always say I'm going to be a millionaire, and I truly believe it. I'm going to manifest it. But I really believe that it's so important because, of course, as you said, there's many things that I want in life.
Yeah.
But I also think that money cannot buy a lot of things. It can't buy class. It can't buy respect. I remember last 2020, I went to Africa, and they were talking about, the apartheid and how there were some people who worked in the hotels and where there were non-white people, and that how they made a great living. But they couldn't buy houses in that area where the non-black people lived, because of just the color of their skin, even if they had money.
In Africa.
Yes, in Africa. And now they say it's black time. That's what they call it when I was in Cape Town. So now they're trying to change things, you know, so that they could give back some type of reparation, I believe. But I don't think any is enough. So that's about it. But that's all we have on money for right now. But we will come back to you next week, where Jamila probably will be home. Won't you be home?
Yeah, I'll be home. I can't wait to go home. I miss my bagels.
All right. So we'll be getting together probably on some type of Zoom or social networking type of thing. And we will come back to you to talk to you more about other things. Maybe, you know, just put below in the comments what you want us to talk about, and we'll get to it, because we be getting to the money. All right. Bye. Bye.